welcome to Ramble Adventures.
Today I'm starting my walk at Grindleford Station up in the Peak District. I'm going to head up through the stunning Padley Gorge. I'll be going over the dramatic Hathersage Moor and see some impressive gritstone formations, and then I'll head over to Surprise View for some impressive views over the Derwent and Hope valleys. The weather's been so cold, wet, windy, changeable lately. Yesterday was terrible. Lashed it down all day, and I'll insert a video. Anyway, so I thought I'll wear my hoodie. I've got my waterproof on because it's supposed to be a bit changeable again today. But walking up this hill, I'm getting warm. I don't want to carry my coat and my jacket. I don't think it's going to fit in my bag very well. So I'll deal with it for now. Maybe it's a bad decision. I've got to prepare for the worst, so you just never know. Just getting to the top of the hill. Some gorgeous little cottages. So, we're just getting into the Padley Gorge area. Reminds me somewhere from like a grim fairy tale. I'm expecting like a little stone witch's hut or something at the top of it. Looks like some branches are broken in the wind. Oh, this looks interesting. Well, this is like a little tunnel. Not a tunnel. I should probably get back on track after that detail. Don't really know what that is. So maybe look it up later and pretend I knew all along. But yeah, looked interesting anyway. Been a lot of industry in these areas. Well, that's where we're heading to later. See all this? Didn't think about this when it rained so heavy yesterday. I looked at the weather forecast and thought, yay, it's not raining tomorrow, or at least not till the afternoon, so I should get a bit of morning before it starts. Forget about all the mud it causes. But, oh well. I bought a full change of clothes today because I learnt from yesterday. Little stream heading into the river down there. Another one here. Ooh. Oh, the wobbly stone. Ooh. Well, it's opening out a little bit more now, so we're still going to head up by the river. Still walking up by the river, and we've got quite a bit on this little track before we get out onto Hathersage Moor. But gorgeous area, look at this, isn't it stunning? Longshore Visitors Centre, or Padley Gorge, that goes to the Visitors Centre. We're not heading up there though, we're going to keep going up by the river, and we're going to go on to Hathersage Moor. Should be able to get some good views up there. So my little instructions said to pass by 3 bridges. The last one, the trail wants to take me over the bridge and not to go over the bridge. So this is where it's going to get a little bit interesting, because I'm going to have to go down a path that's a little less obvious. And I'm pretty sure I've done this walk years ago and I got really confused by this bit. So we'll see where we end up, but that makes sense. This path ahead really does look like it wants me to take me over the bridge, and I'm not sure where it is I need to be. See what I mean? So the path goes over the little footbridge. Oh, I think I can see the path I need to take, but here's the lovely bridge. So this is the path I actually need to take. It's right, it's less obvious, but I can see it now, there's a path. But years ago, I do remember getting really confused at this point. I think I was expecting something a little bit more clear than what it is, it being more grassy. So I come up to this little gate, and as I'm sure you can hear by now, a very busy road. So we're out on Hathersage Moor now. Now I do want to check the map here because there's two different routes. The route that I'm taking that's written down, I am actually going to make a little detour because I've noticed on the map, and this is one good thing about using a map and not just relying on these routes, I noticed there's an Iron Age Hillfort just a bit further on if I go down a slightly different path, and I would like to go to that. So I'm going to take a detour up to that and then rejoin the original route later. So I don't know if I need to take a different fork here, so I'm just going to consult the map. That's like a good spot for it. I'm originally supposed to be coming up this way, but at this Toad's Mouth I do actually want to go down the right hand fork, and that should take us to Carl Wark Fort, which is an Iron Age Hillfort. So I got so sidetracked by that gorgeous river that I still almost took the wrong path. Admittedly, in my defence, that was the more obvious path. But I knew I needed to come past Toad's Mouth, and I know Toad's Mouth is a rock that looks like a toad's mouth. I hadn't seen one, so I backtracked and I found the right path, which is definitely far less trod. It's narrow and not obvious. We're going to take this little pathway, and there's a few little bits coming off it, so I am actually going to use my mobile OS map for this. I really don't know which way I want to be. I'm going to come up here and see if it starts taking me off the path or not on the map. So far it thinks we're still on the path, so we're doing okay to start with. Nope, not this one. So, must be the one going further back. When you start going off the main routes, but it's certainly a lot more fun. No, this one you can't go down either. Is it just overgrown or is it not a path? Well, I think I'm going to have to go back to the river path and see if it is that one, but according to the OS map it's not that close to the river. But I mean, there is obviously the banking, so unless that's just deceiving. The footpath sign telling me it's this way. Watch out for fallen fence, fallen wall. Well, I am very confused. So generally, I do tend to go off whatever route that I was originally going to take, and I start doing random little changes on the maps. And sometimes footpaths can be a little bit, you know, less upkept, but generally they are there. That one back there definitely isn't there, and I don't feel like I can go down it. But also the sign is pointing this way, as we saw. So I thought, well, maybe it moves away from the river because the footpath wasn't near the river according to the map. But right now I am, as you can probably hear, well, there we go, it's there. I'm right next to the river. So according to the mobile OS map, I am currently by the river where there's no footpath, and the one we were on by Toad's Mouth is the footpath. It's not where the sign goes, so the one I'm on now is also disappearing on me. I think I'm going to have to give up on Carl Wark. Okay, some bellrunners just ran past and they were just unsure which route they wanted to go. So I told them I was trying to work it out as well. And they were like, as if they've got a choice on footpath, but they went up by Toad's Mouth. So I'm just going to see if they come back down again, and if they don't, they were running, so they're not down yet. I think there's a good chance we can go up there. I think they went up when I went up and I had the left or right option, I think they went up the right option. But that didn't look like a path. Oh yeah, it went off my map, didn't it? My GPS one. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to forge. I'm going to forge through the first one, the right, the left-hand side one. They went up the right, but I'm going to try and see if I can just stick to the green footpath symbol on my GPS. So I'm going to have to use the GPS pretty heavily on this one. Let's give this a try. Let's try left. Okay, no, I took the right one. I went back to the left one. It definitely isn't a path. There's no path there, even though it kind of looks like it is to start with. And same as this one. It looks like it's a path to start with, then it just completely disappears. So I really am, unfortunately, relying on my GPS on this. Oh, here's a path. Is this it? Oh, let's try it. Only recently, very recently, downloaded the app for the OS Maps app. Oh my gosh, I think I need to do my coat up. I end up with full of bugs. I just think I'm on track. It is saying this is the footpath, so okay, I'm right. I'm just gotta hope I don't get Lyme disease from this walk. Oh, this is looking really lovely now. Well, I'm glad I saw those runners. Obviously, as you know, I had given up on this walk, as in this section of the walk, going up to Carl Wark, Hillfort. You know, I thought it wasn't going to happen. So I'm glad that I trudged on. Straight ahead there is Carl Wark, Hillfort. So it's an old settlement in the Iron Age. There is a little bit of debate on how old it is actually. Some say Iron Age, but there's some people have thought it's even earlier, maybe Neolithic. I think it's Stone Age. But there's a lot of debate on it. I think until they do some proper archaeological survey on it, we're really not going to know. Well, I just met a nice couple who confirmed that I was on track, because it can be a little bit hard on these paths. They really do divert, and there's other people, obviously other people are on different walks, they go in different ways. So this couple going the same way as me, they helped another couple out who wanted to just cross straight over to Carl's Walk and not come up the footpath. So they were warned, you will have wet feet on a day like today crossing this bog. Those guys, this couple who helped, they come up here every day, 4 miles from Longshore round. This is their daily walk. But the other couple, they have gone straight across, so be interested. Mind you, my feet are going to be bad enough after this. It's still boggy enough on the footpath, so I dread to think how bad it is in the middle of there. I've heeded the warning though, and I wasn't actually intending on crossing straight across. I wanted to come up the footpath and go round to it that way. But there's lots of people stood on top. Maybe we'll get a good enough view from up there. I'll take a look when I get up there. Like I say, this was just a random add-on on this particular walk. I'm in the middle of the field and it is definitely wet and muddy. Yeah, it's not a simple path, I'm going to tell you that. It's not obvious, and it's not just me, because other people were asking, trying to find the path, so I'm not the only one struggling with this one. Getting quite wet. Oh god. Oh my god. Oh, and cowpat mixed into it. Look, it's just like a stream. I don't quite know how to cross this. Maybe up on top of this. That's what the cows have been doing. Look. Cow pat everywhere. Oh my god. Ah! Oh no. Oh my god. This okay, I'm just gonna have to cut across, I think. Oh, well, I'm starting to head a little bit more uphill now, so it's a bit more pathy, so hopefully heading out of the wetter, grassy area back into the bracken, and yeah, a bit drier, that's nice. I think it was making it worse because not only was it very, very wet and very muddy, but also a lot of cow pat mixed into it, so you didn't really know if you were going to step in just mud or cow dung. Yeah, we're on the nice bit now, so that's cheered me up a bit. I'm nearly back at the back on my green dotted line on the OS app. As I'm using the GPS to help with this one. Like I say, I do like my paper maps just because it's what I always grew up using. But it's a brave new world and GPS is very helpful. So where I'm coming up to, I can see behind me there's Higator. Now I've walked around to the more obvious trail. I feel like I am back on track more now properly, as in I'm on the track, on my little green dotted line. I think it would have meant me going over the grass where those people wanted to go, and they went, but were warned not to. I think that must have been the path, but it certainly wasn't an obvious path, and they were struggling. It's got Carl Wark. This is looking a little more familiar to me now I'm on here. I've definitely walked up here. I've walked on Higator before, and I think we must have come over here because this is looking familiar. But this is the thing, I didn't know this was an Iron Age Hillfort, or maybe I didn't care. I mean, that's very possible when you're young and you don't really appreciate it. But I mean, just think of the people that were here, the things that happened here. I'm going to travel right across the top of Carl Wark, and I will have to retrace my footsteps back to that path, but I want to make the most of it while I'm here. Might as well have an explore. Made the effort to come all the way here and look at these gorgeous views. Back into the less obvious paths again. Worth it though, right? You know, exploring and stuff. So we are currently in the middle of Carl Wark Fort, which is just here. And then we're going to head out over Hathersage Moor, along there, turn here, and we'll head back to, this is where we were supposed to go, and then we'll start following that back round again. Right, so I've had my drink, I've had a look around the Hillfort, so now it's time to head back over Hathersage Moor. Hopefully, if I can find my way. It's not an easy place to navigate, but some other people just asked me for direction, so I'm glad I'm not the only one struggling with this. I feel like I want to walk down this path. I have no idea if it's the right path. So behind me, if you can see, I don't know if it shows up very well, the grasslands behind me, you can see some people walking up there. I've just crossed over there. It's really, really boggy, and I would have got the camera out, but to be honest, it was too boggy even for that. I never found the path. I shouldn't have gone the way I went. It wasn't the pathway. But also, though, I walked across this grass to get up to the path, and it still never met up with it. It just got worse and worse. The water was bad. The grass was it was really long. Actually, some of the longer bits of grass were a bit better because I could try and like balance on them instead of going into the water. But my feet got pretty wet on that one. But I wasn't the only one. There's a lot of people out there in the middle of that grass also struggling. So I think perhaps maybe the path isn't there or just isn't really very obvious. They're all going up that way. But where I ultimately want to be is south of this like little rocky bank here. I want to be like below that. So I'm thinking I found like a little bit that's drier, and it's not a path. I think it's like an animal track, but it's taking me more the direction I want to go in than what that original path, if I ever found it, would be. And I might not find it, and then you're just trudging along that grass. I was like, if I've got to trudge along this the entire way, I might as well be going in the direction I want to be in. So much for me saying stick to the footpaths. This place, it seems impossible to do that. So this is where I'm at the moment. And see this sort of track, it's not really a footpath or anything, but it's like animal tracks, perhaps, I don't know, or maybe a very old footpath, but it's certainly not marked on any map, so it's not supposed to be a footpath, put it that way, but we can't find the marked ones, so this will have to do. I just found some kind of footpath. Oh, I'm so pleased. It's not a marked one. It's not the one I was supposed to be looking for, but it's a footpath and I don't care. It's not full of water, it's not long grass, like as in bogs, and it's not bracken. It's a nice grassy footpath. So this should take me roughly somewhere near where I want to eventually be for the actual footpath. But at least this is something I can walk on, and it's not bogs. So yeah, all I can say is I'm very glad I put the good walking boots on today. I wouldn't normally have even put these on. I'd have put my other ones on which aren't as waterproof. But I went out yesterday in the rain around Sherwood Forest, wore those, and it was soaking. You know, it was a major downpour. So my shoes were drenched by the end of the day. And I checked them this morning, obviously they were still wet. So I've met up with a path, and I thought, yes, finally, I've made it to the path that I'm looking for. No, it's not, it's a different path. But it's actually going to take me exactly where I want to be. Slightly further along the route, which is great. I'm not missing anything, and that's fine. It's where I want to go to, not a problem. And it's a proper path, even more pathy than the other path. So yeah, we're back on track. I know where I'm going. So I missed a little grouse. A little grouse crossed the path in front of me, and I wasn't filming. I tried to catch him, he kept poking his head up, but I could never get to him. You'd never seen him in the heather. But what a shame. It says on the map this is a field system for Bronze Age. Well, it doesn't say Bronze Age, I looked that up. But it says field system, which means it's an old farming and settlement sort of set up. And so this area is actually really rich in Bronze Age remains. Let's turn down this little path, and it mentions some stunning views over Hope, Castleton and Mam Tor, and it is not wrong. It's a pretty decent view. So yeah, head on down here. That's Overowler Tor up there. And we're heading towards Surprise View. This area is very popular for climbers as well. The gritstone is really good for climbing, and I think here is a climbing rope set up. That's the other side of that setup. I've sort of just come out onto a bit that it's not a path I'm taking, but just to show some of this rock formation here. You can see why this is so popular with climbers, with rock faces like this. So we've crossed over the busy main road again, heading down into St Lawrence Field now. This is another area with some ancient significance in it. Apparently there's a stone circle in here. And the other thing is a settlement, Bronze Age I believe. So see what I can find. Oh. So the ancient settlement, according to the map, is over in that direction. It was of an irregular oval type which contained longhouses. The tumulite on the east has been excavated and found to be of late Saxon to early medieval. Well, I was keeping my eye out for some kind of stone circle that I could see, like any standing stones, or even a path to be able to get over there, because I've obviously been looking at it on the map. But I can't see an easy way over, and in terms of trudging over the heather, I don't want to damage any more landscape than I've already damaged today, having to go over Hathersage Moor. So I'm sticking to the paths, and unfortunately won't be able to get a view of the stone circle, if much of it even remains. But bit of a shame, but I would be struggling to find wherever that might be. So it's definitely not, I can't see anything sticking up out of the heather in any obvious way. So we'll move on and head back toward Grindleford. Now we've come off of the moorland and into like a little woodland area. So there's a good variety on this walk. Ancient woodland at Padley Gorge, the moors and the gritstone, and then into this sort of open woodland, I'm willing to say. It's a beautiful day. Yesterday was such a washout, and today has been stunning. Has forecast rain through the afternoon. I don't know if that's changed. I haven't looked at it throughout the day. This morning it reckoned it was going to be nice and sunny in the morning and then rain in the afternoon. But we're getting into the afternoon now and it's still nice and sunny here, so I think I'm doing pretty well again. So supposedly this path is going to zigzag down to the path that I came in on, and then I can retrace my steps back to Grindleford from there. Back in the ancient woodland and back in the mud, but it's all good. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this whole walk. So here's the bit where I'm joined back onto the route that I came up on. So if we were really crazy, we could go around and do it all again. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to head back to Grindleford. We got to the end and I finally took my coat and jacket off. Oh, it didn't rain and it's been quite nice and sunny. The weather's actually really quite pleasant, but you have to prepare for it, especially as our weather's been lately. It's been, like yesterday I was so cold. Didn't want to risk that, being up there and it raining and being cold and windy. So anyway, I've not been uncomfortable until this last few minutes. I thought I'm going to have to take it off. The sun's quite nice now. It's into the afternoon. So anyway, we're heading back down to Grindleford. So if you've liked the video, please hit the like button and share, subscribe, everything else. See you next time.